internal state convention, and where the issues of scope are just totally different. So they're suggestive of some options, but I don't think they help us resolve the unanswered questions.
Okay, to the left.
My name is Anthony Hawks. I'm a practicing attorney in Washington, D.C. First, I'd like to compliment Professor Tribe for consistency. I think his comments today mirror what he told the California State Legislature 32 years ago. But they also trouble me because they remind me of Robert Bork's famous comparison of the Ninth Amendment to an ink blot. The idea being that you can't enforce or apply a provision because you can't possibly know what it means. What we discovered over the last 30 years, though, is a great deal of legal scholarship. We know a lot about the Ninth Amendment now, and I think Mr. Dranius would concur. We know a lot more about the Article 5 Amendment, Article 5 provision. So my question to Professor Tribe is, did you think Article 5 was an ink blot 30 years ago? And do you still think, and if so, do you still think that's the case in light of all the scholarship that has taken place?
I've never thought that the provision of Article 5 for a new convention should be disregarded the way Robert Bork thought the Ninth Amendment should be. In that sense, I've never thought either of them was an ink blot. Remember, it was his position that because nobody knows what the unenumerated rights of Americans are, that they have none. And I've always thought that the whole point of the Ninth Amendment was that we have all kinds of rights that were never written down. And I profoundly objected to the idea that the Constitution's interpretation would be entrusted to someone who thought that we have no rights except those that are expressly enumerated. I would also object very much to someone who said that because I don't know the answers to all of the questions about an Article 5 convention, I would oppose ever having one. And that's why I've made very clear that I don't take that view.
Okay, to the right.
Jonathan Marks, non-residential fellow at the Safra Center. I have a concern that the Constitutional Convention wouldn't address things which, international legal norms which have emerged long since the Constitution was drafted, such as the right to vote, under which the current position in relation to D.C., Washington, D.C., is simply indefensible. But my real question is, how can we prevent moneyed and powerful special interests from influencing the 700 delegates, both in terms of agenda setting and in the deliberations that follow? This wouldn't be a runaway convention, rather, but a very tightly controlled and orchestrated one.
If I may respond, how do we stop it from influencing Congress right now? I mean, you have to think in terms of relative risk. The status quo, whether you look at it from the right or the left, in Washington is a runaway convention. Depending on your perspective, it's 70 years old or 30 years old. All that same influence you're worried about happens every single day in Washington. It's the way